Good evening, everyone. So, I am Fawazia, doing Medical Laboratory Sciences, an undergraduate in Faculty of Allied Health Science of University of Sri Jayewardenepura. So, today we are going to look into fractions and applications, one of the important sessions in your syllabus, where you are going to get a question in your Part 1 paper. So, before we go into today's session, I want you all to make your mind clear that maths, though everyone say is one of the hardest or one of the most difficult subject they have, is one of the easiest subject when you practice. Okay, so they say practice makes a man perfect. So maths is one of the subject where you have to practice a lot. With practice, you understand the method, and thereby you can really be thorough in maths. Okay, so before we go into today's session, I want you all to have a very brief idea, almost like a very clear idea. I'm going to tell it in brief how your paper, the final OL paper, is going to be. So give me a minute. So when you take your paper is going to be of 4 hours with 4.5 hours. With your part one paper, you are going to get 2 hours. And in your part one paper, there is going to be 25 short questions. For each, you are going to get 2 marks, and you are going to get 50 marks for it. And then you will get 5 short essays, and each of those essays is going to carry 10 marks each, and you are going to get 100 marks in total for your part 1 paper. So total you will get 2 hours, where you will have to spend 1 hour for the first short questions and another 1 hour for the next 5 questions. Now today's session fractions is also going to come in this 5, and one of the 5 questions is going to be fractions. So usually they are going to you are going to have fractions, and then area or area plus sorry area plus perimeter is going to be another session, and then you are going to get a question from ratio, another question from probability, another question from equations. Okay, so usually the first 5 questions are going to be from these sections, right? So fractions is what we are going to discuss today, is also going to be a compulsory question in your part 1 paper. And other than that, you will have a part 2 paper. There you will get 2.5 hours. And you are going to get 12 questions, but you have to do 10 questions. Like in out of that 12, in part A, you are going to have 6 questions, and part B, 6 questions. You have to do 5 questions from part A and 5 questions from part B. So totally there's going to be 10 questions, and each of that question is going to carry 10 marks, and you will get 100 marks. So total you will get 200, and they will divide it by 2, and you will get your final result. So you all can see that in max you all can you all can actually say your question is going to be from this section. So you all have to be very thorough in these sessions. You all have to do repeatedly past papers. Like past paper is the key. Now with experience, I'm telling past paper is the key, because when you do past papers continuously, you will understand the method behind every step, the reason behind every step. So you will be very clear, and even if they twist the question, even if they ask the same question in multiple ways, you will know now I have to use this step, now this step is going to come next. Like that, you will be very clear when you do past paper. Now for an example, if I want to give you all a simple tip to understand a particular session, if you take fractions, do 5 years of fractions question. Even if you don't know the answer, look into the marking scheme, get an idea, and or just at least copy down the answer. Then you will understand the flow of the question, the understand the flow of the answers, and you will be very clear. By after doing 4 questions, when you are doing the fifth question, you will be able to answer that fifth question without looking into the marking scheme. So that is the tactic actually. Whatever the sections, don't wait until all your syllabus are over to go into past papers, because most of us have a mindset that we haven't covered the syllabus yet. How can we do papers now? But that is not the right way to think. Okay, you all have to do past papers now itself. Just focus on the sessions you have covered. Just look into those sessions, try questions from those sessions. If you are not if you are not clear even after doing papers, you all can look into a theory session and then read the theory, read the book. And if you are not clear, even after that, you all can ask anybody for help, right? So this is the structure of your paper, and today we are going to look into fractions. Okay. So fractions is a way to represent a particular portion. Okay. So that is why we are going to use fractions. Even in our day-to-day life, we are going to use the fractions in several times. For example, if you have a pizza and you have 8 portions, you are going to say that if you take one pizza piece, you are going to say 1/8 of that pizza, right? So telling those terms will come as fractions. So for an example, here I have a circle and it is divided into 8 parts. And when I want to tell about this particular part, this particular portion, I'm going to tell is 1/8. So that is a fraction. Okay. So fractions is equivalent to division. So this is one of the important point all of us have to be very clear. Okay. So this fractions is just like the division what we do, right? So here you can see I have given a simple example how it comes. This 3 is what we get inside, and then this line is just like the division mark we use. So this is very important for you all to simplify your equations or simplify the fractions, or even if you all want to do any calculation, have the clear idea that fractions are just like division. Okay. So in a fraction, we have two parts. The top one, the numerator, and the bottom one, the one below the line is going to be your denominator. And the middle line is just like the division mark. Okay. So there are different types of fractions. First one is proper fraction. So we saw what is a numerator and what is a denominator. So proper fractions mean when your numerator is smaller than the denominator, we call it as a proper fraction. For example, here I have mentioned 2/5, 3/8, 24/25. Whatever the number, if the numerator is smaller than the denominator, we call it as a proper fraction. Okay. So the next type is improper fractions. It's the total opposite. Okay, so here you have the numerator which is larger than the denominator. Okay. So 5/2, 8/3. I have just given the opposite, the reciprocals of these fractions. So that is the example for improper fraction. So mark this point. Remember this point very carefully. An improper fraction should always be converted into a mixed number. So remember that when you are doing a question related to fractions and you are simplifying them, and the final answer, if you get an improper fraction, you cannot leave it as it is, right? So sometimes some markings persons, some supervisors or examiners, they are going to give you marks for the improper fractions, but some won't. So but it's really inappropriate to keep it as a improper fraction. So definitely you have to convert into a mixed number. So now we'll see what is this mixed number. Okay. So mixed number is a number which has a whole number. Along with it, there is a fraction. Okay. So when you have a whole number and a fraction, we call it as a mixed number, right? So here I have said 4/2, 7/4, 3/1/3. So here you can see there is a whole number as well as there is a fraction. So this is a mixed number. So you have to know how to convert an improper fraction into a mixed number and how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. So here in this example, you have 15 and 2. It's an improper fraction because your numerator is larger than your denominator. So what we have to do is, I have already told you this line is your division mark. So you're going to divide. So 15, if you divide by 2, you have 7 2s in 15. So that 7 comes as your whole number and you are going to divide it by 2, right? So whatever the number you are going to divide is going to be your denominator and the remainder you are going to get will become your numerator, right? So that is how you convert an improper fraction into a mixed number. If you want to convert your mixed number into an improper fraction, you have to multiply the denominator with the whole number and then you have to add it with the remainder to get the numerator. So 7 multiplied by 2 is going to be 14. 14 plus 1, 15. So that will become your numerator and the denominator is going to be the same just as it is. Okay. So there are another type of fractions called unit fractions. So unit fractions, here the numerator is always 1. Whatever the denominator, if the numerator is 1, you call it as a unit fraction. Even if you have a very large value like 100,000 or more than that, if your numerator is 1, you generally call those fractions as unit fractions. The next type of fractions are equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions are several fractions, but they are equal to each other, right? So for an example, here you have 1 over 2. I have given the symbol equal. It is equal to 3 over 6, 10 over 20, 500 over 1000. So all these fractions are equivalent fractions because they are equal to one another. So if you see that if I simplify this 3 and 6, I'm going to get 1 over 2. If I simplify this 10 and 20, I'm going to get 1 over 2. So they are equal to one another. So what I want to make it clear here is that these numbers are obtained. The equivalent fractions are obtained when you multiply the numerator and denominator of a particular fraction by a number. You have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. For an example, here 1 by 2. So I have multiplied that by 3. The numerator is also multiplied by 3 and you're going to get 3. And if you multiply the denominator by 3, you're going to get 6. So that 3 over 6 is equivalent to 1 over 2. So if you take this one, you have multiplied both numerator and denominator by 10. Okay, so they are equivalent, right? So these equivalent fractions are important when you do calculations, when you apply fractions, right? So remember that the numerator and the denominator, you have to multiply by the same to get equivalent fractions. So we do this when we are simplifying fractions related questions. Okay. So the next part is going to be, to move on to the next thing is addition and subtraction of fractions. Okay. So, you know, in your basic grades, you all have learned about these fractions, the addition and the subtraction, all these things. So we'll just go through them quickly. So if your denominator is the same, you just have to add the numerators to get the final answer. Or if you have the denominators same, you just have to subtract the numerators and you are going to get the answer. But if your denominators are different, for example, in this you have 10 and 5, then you have to make both the denominators the same by considering the LCM, least common multiple. So that is something I think you all know by now. Okay, so for an example, if you take 5 and 10, the least common multiple for 5 and 10 is 10. So you have to convert the denominators of both the fractions as 10. So the first fraction already has the 10. So I have converted the second fraction to convert the denominator into 10. So you have to multiply 5 by 2. So if you do something for the denominator, definitely you have to do it for the numerator as well. So 5 times 2. So the numerator is also 2 times 2. So that I'm going to get as 4 by 10. So then you can do it as the earlier one. where the denominators are same, you just have to add the numerators. You are going to get 8 by 10. Usually in your part 1 paper, you get marks even if you don't simplify them. But remember, it is very best, the best way in a max paper, when you do papers, you just have to represent your answer in the simplest form as possible, the very simplest form. Okay, even if you keep in this fraction, you're going to get marks in your part 1 paper. But the way sometimes if the different persons mark the papers, but it's best if you could keep the answer in the most simplest form. Okay, so you have to simplify it 4 by 5. So just like that for subtraction as well, if the denominators are different, you have to consider the least common multiple. Now when you take 7 and 2, the least common multiple is 14. So you have to multiply 7 by 2 to make it 14. So if you do something for the denominator, you have to do it for the numerator as well. So 7 by 2 and 5 by 2. And to convert 2 into 40, you have to multiply by 7. So the same for the numerator as well. So 1 by 7. And then you just have to subtract as the first part. So 10 minus 7 is 3 over 14. Is it clear? Anybody not clear? I guess everyone are clear. So when you consider multiplication and division of fractions, now in multiplication, you just have to multiply the numerator with the numerator and the denominator with the denominator. So here 10 over 25 into 1 over 2. So numerator you are going to multiply with another numerator. Sorry, the next numerator and the denominator by the denominator. So 10 into 1 is 10 and 25 into 2 is 50. So it's best to keep it in the simplest form. So it's 1 over 5. So when you might have studied something called off in this, when you have come to grade 10 only, you might have studied of off. So off is just like the multiplication mark. There's nothing different. You just have to replace the off as multiplication mark. So just like that, you just have to multiply the numerators and the denominator. So 1 into 3 is 3 and 2 into 8 is 60. So when it comes to division, you have to convert this division mark into multiplication. So when you convert this division into multiplication mark, the fraction, you just have to write the reciprocal of that fraction. So when this division symbol changes into the multiplication symbol, your fraction will take the reciprocal of that particular fraction. So then it's just like the usual way. So remember, when you have multiplication mark, whenever possible, if you can if there are simplification ways, you have to simplify. Here, see, you can simplify 4 and 8. Here you have 1 time and 2 times. And here 7, you have 1 time and 21 3 times. You don't have to multiply the whole numbers and then divide and find the final answer. Usually you will get your answer where you can, you will get your fractions where you can easily simplify one another. So always check whether I can simplify this fraction in any way possible. Okay. So if you simplify, you'll get the answer 3 by 2. And I have told you, you should always change your improper fraction into a mixed number. So make sure you always change the improper fraction into a mixed number when you keep it as the final answer. So when you have a very complicated question like now, here you can see your multiplication, your addition of all these are, I have given you an example where all these are mentioned. Okay. So when you have all these things in your equation, to find the answer, to simplify that, you have to consider the BODMAS. Okay. So BODMAS stands for brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and then finally you have to do the subtraction. So you have to do this in this order. So when there is a question and you have to simplify to get the answer, first you have to consider the brackets, then you have to do the off, and then division, multiplication, and then finally only you have to do the addition and then subtraction. So you will get the correct answer when you go in this order only. Sometimes when you change the orders, you will have a different answer. So always remember you have to go according to the BODMAS order. So you can see in this example, I have mixed numbers. So the first step you have to do is you have to convert these mixed numbers into improper fraction, because you can't do when you have mixed numbers. Okay, so you have to convert them into your improper fractions. So that is my next step. Okay, so where according to the BODMAS, we have to first do within the brackets, right? So within the brackets, if I see, what I have done is, you can see 3, 2, and 6. So I told you when the denominators are different, you have to make the denominator the same by considering the least common multiple. So when you take 3, 2, and 6, the least common multiple is 6. Okay. So 6, now 3, if I have to convert into 6, I have to multiply by 2. That means I have to multiply 8 also by 2. So 8 by 2, it will become 16. And then 2, if I multiply to make it 6, I have to multiply by 3. Then 3 also, I have to multiply by 3. So it will become 9. And you have minus symbol here. So you get minus 9. And then you have 5. And the denominator is already 6. So it's all just as 5. Okay. And then here, if you take the off symbol, it's going to be converted into the multiplication mark. I can simplify 5 and 5. So I'm going to get 4 over 3 in this within this bracket. Okay. So now I have to simplify within this bracket. If I simplify, you can see 16 plus 5. I have to do addition first. So 16 and 5 have positive numbers. Or you can consider it like this as well. Minus 9 plus 5. So minus 9 and plus 5 is going to give an answer minus 4. So 16 minus 4 is going to be 12. Or you can do it like this as well. 60 plus 5, that is going to be 21. And 21 minus 9 is going to give 12. Okay. So 12 divided by 6. Sorry, 12 over 6 divided by 4 over 3. So division mark to convert in, you have to convert into multiplication. Then the fraction you have to take the reciprocal. So 12 and 4 you get simplified. 6 and 3 if you simplify you'll get 3 by 2. And then you have to convert it into the mixed number. Is it clear? So can you all do questions like this, considering the BODMAS? Are you all confident enough to do any question if they ask using BODMAS?
Yes.
So, so here are some questions. I will give you all 5 minutes. Can you all try them as much as you can? I hope you all have rough papers with you all. At least can you all try the first 2 questions like that? Can you all just try and
Okay,
see how
teacher.
quickly you can do? Okay, I'll give you all 5 minutes.
Miss, I think we can't hear you.
Can you all hear now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
madam.
Okay, sorry, there was a small disturbance. So, from which part you all couldn't hear? Is it from the beginning or
From
from
the
the beginning you all
beginning.
couldn't hear?
From
So,
the
did you all
beginning, madam.
understand? Sorry. So, you all understood or you all want me to do the sums from the beginning again? I mean, you all need the voice also, or shall I continue?
Continue, madam.
Okay. So when you consider this question, you have 5 over 9 minus 1 over 3 and you are dividing it by 2. So you have to consider the brackets first because you all know the BODMAS order. So when you consider the brackets, if you consider 9 and 3, the LCM, the least common multiple is going to be 9. So already it's 9, so 5. So you have to convert 3 into 9. So you have to multiply into 3. So your numerator is going to become 3. Okay. So 5 minus 3 over 9 is going to give you the answer 2 over 9. And if you divide, and you have to divide it by 2. So division mark, you have to convert into multiplication mark. So you have to write the reciprocal 1 over 2. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled off. Then you are going to get the answer as 1 over 9. Okay. So the next question, 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 plus 2, 1 by 3. Okay. One over 4, and then you have plus in brackets. You have 2, 1, 2, 1 over 3 multiplication mark. I'll use this as my multiplication mark, and then you have 2 over 7. Then close brackets. Then you have to simplify this as 1 over 4 plus. Then you have to do the within the brackets first. So within the bracket, when you convert the mixed number into a improper fraction, you will get 7 by 3. into 2 by 7. Then you can cancel 7 and 7. So you are going to get the answer as 1 over 4 plus 2 over 3. So here your denominator is going to be, you have to consider least common multiple. When you consider least common multiple, it's going to be 12. So I have to multiply the first fraction by 3 and the second fraction by 4. So you will get 4 plus, sorry, first one into 3, right? So 3 plus 8 over 12. So your answer is going to be 11 over 12. Okay, and the final one you are going to get as, within brackets, 6, 3 over 8 minus 1 over 4, close bracket of 1 by 7. So first you have to convert the mixed number into improper fraction. Then you will get 51 over 8 minus 1 over 4, multiplication mark, 1 over 7. So 51 and 8, then this common multiple is for these two fractions is going to be 8. So you have to convert the second fraction into, second fraction's denominator into 8. So for that you have to multiply by 2. So 51 minus 2 over 8. So this will come within the bracket. Into 1 over 7. So the answer is going to be 49 over 8 into 8 into 1 over 7. So you can simplify 49 and 7. That is 7 times. So your answer is going to be 7 over 8. Okay. So I hope all of you can check with your answers. So anybody who is not clear with how to simplify with the BODMAS? The first and second, those who want can personally ask me, because if I try to write or type it again, it will take a lot of time. So first one, your answer is going to be 1 by 3. Second one, it's going to be 11 over 20. Then 1 over 9. Fourth one, 11 over 12. The final one is 7 over 8. So remember, all these questions I have put in this particular slide is from the past paper. Okay, so it's going to be simple as that. So when you understand the point, the questions are going to be very easy. So these are from the past papers only. These questions I have taken. So if you all could take all of these correct, that means you all know how to simplify any type of question. So if you are going to get a simplification like this, it's going to be just like this. Nothing, they won't ask very complex ones in your paper. Okay. So even if you couldn't do it, don't worry. Just understand the method now. Okay. So the next part in fractions is, now application of fractions. So now you can see that now these fractions, we are applying these fractions in our day-to-day life. In a lot of calculations, we are using fractions and we are doing calculations. So this is the important part. So if you all can't understand, if you all are not clear, you all can ask me. Okay. So try to focus and listen to this part, because definitely you are going to get a particular question similar to this. That means you are going to get an instant, and using that instant only they will ask you all to do. Okay. But sometimes they might ask like the ones we did previously, and along with that, definitely they are going to ask a question like this. Okay, so this is a question I took from your textbook. So here you can see, now I'll try to teach you a very easy method when you all have fraction question. Okay, so remember, when you have a fraction question, try to simplify the question into a diagram. So that will be very easy for you. Okay. So in this question, now when you read the question itself, you all have to make it into a diagram. Okay, that is the best way, so that you can save a lot of time. No need to read the question repeatedly again and again. So max paper, you will have, your time is like very limited. You all have to be very focused and concentrated, and you'll have to do the maximum within that particular allocated time, right? So when you take the paper, that will be the fastest hours you spend. Okay, so to reduce the time you spend in reading the question again and again, the best way is when you read the question for the first time, try to simplify the question into a diagram. Okay, so I have a very simple way of doing fractions. Okay, so if you, I don't know whether you all will believe me, even I also thought that fraction is a very difficult part in maths like that. Okay, but when you understand, when you do it in a diagrammatic way, you will be very clear to consider which fraction now, to which part of the fraction should I consider now. All these things will be clear and you will not be confused. Okay, so when you consider this question, from a certain amount of money, 1/2 was given to A, 1/3 of the remaining amount was given to B, and the rest was given to C. So if you all have your max textbooks with you all can take this question, because when I use the whiteboard, the question will not be visible for you all. Okay. So in your question, now when you see, you can see that okay, so from a certain amount of money, we'll say this amount of money is X. Okay, now we'll say I have X amount of money, and then from that, half is given to A. So for A, you can draw a diagram like this. Half is given to A, right? And then 1/3 of the remaining amount was given to C. So from the remainder, we'll say some Y amount is remaining. Okay, so from the remaining Y amount, 1/3 is given to D. Okay, and then they say the rest was given to C. So the balance part they are giving to C. So you can draw a diagram like this. Okay, so if 1/2 is given to A, the remaining fraction is going to be another 1/2, because from the total, if you are giving half to A, the remainder is going to be half. You have to, like, this X is considered as 1 total portion. Okay, so from that one portion, if you give half, the remainder is going, you have to see the remainder as 1 minus half. So that is going to be equal to half, right? From the half only, you are giving 1/3 for B. And then if you consider 1/3 for B means the balance is 2/3. 2/3 is given for C. Is it clear? Did you all understand this map? How I have drawn? Did you all understand? Anybody who is not clear? You can raise your hands. I can repeat it. Okay. So you can see that initially you are having amount X. So your X is considered as the whole portion. So that is only the one. You consider it as 1. The total portion, you consider it as 1. So from that total portion, now we don't consider this as a money. So we'll take this as cake, right? So from the whole cake, you are giving half to A. Okay. So from the remaining portion, you are giving 1/3 for B. So the total cake, we consider it as 1. So if you give half for A, the remainder is going to be 1 minus that half. So the remainder is going to be another half. Or if you have given another fraction, if you subtract that fraction from 1, whatever the answer you're going to get is going to be the remainder. Okay, so from that remainder, you are giving 1 over 3 portion for B and the rest for the C. So 1 over 3 if you have given for B means the remainder is going to be 2 over 3. So 2 over 3 is given for C. Okay, clearly understand that whatever the branches you are taking from this initial portion, like these branches, okay, I'll change the color and show you all. Now these branches, these red color ones, right? These red color ones are the real ones. Okay, so only the ones coming from this red color lines will be considered as the real fraction. So whenever you are answering, you will have to mention in terms of these fractions, right? Whatever the ones I have drawn in blue is not real ones. They are false because they are coming from this part only they are coming. So we have to find the true ones. Okay, so if it is confusing, you'll understand when we do the questions. Try to understand that how many, even if you have several branches from the initial one, all those branches are going to be considered as real ones. Okay, so we'll say you have a cake, you are giving 1/4 for one person for A, you are giving another 1/4 portion for B, 1/4 portion for C, like that you are giving. So all these lines are going to be considered as real. So if I want to give another person, now this A person is going to give another person means he can, from this half, he can give it to another person, right? So he can give it to another lot of persons he can give. So, but all this will be considered as not true, right? Sorry. So all this will be considered as false fractions. Okay. Only the fractions coming from the initial portion will be considered as your real fraction. Okay. So when you draw a diagram like this, you will understand now how it is dividing, right? Okay. So now this X amount of money, we are giving half portion for A, and from the remainder, 1 over 3 is given for B, and the rest is given for C. The first question they are asking, find what fraction that C received from the amount of money that was distributed. Okay, so from the amount distributed means he is going to get 2 over 3 portion of 1 over 2. And see that from the initial amount, from the half amount, he is going to get 2 by 3 portion. So to find, now if they ask from the total amount, how much did he get? He got 2 by 3 of 2 by 3 of half. Is it clear? Did you all understand how I got this equation? I mean, this is the portion C received. 2 over 3 of 1 over 2. Okay. So that is equal to 2 by 3 into 1 over 2. You can simplify 2 and 2. So that is going to be equal to 1 over 3. Is it clear? Anybody who didn't understand, you all can tell me, because following questions, then you will, if you can understand the flow, you can do any questions from fraction. Okay. So, or you can do it in another method, but it will be a lengthy one. What you can do is you can calculate the amount received by both A and B. So that is be equal. Now, both A and B, they got half and B got 1/3, right? So if you add whole, you can add both this amount, and that is going to be, you have to take the denominator same. So the least common multiple is 6. So that is going to be 3 plus sorry. Now B got 1/3 of half, right? So 1/3 of half. Okay, so it will be a lengthy method, as I said earlier, because you will have to find B portion. So that is going to be 1/3 of half. So that is going to be 1/2 plus 1/3 of half. So that is going to be equal to 1/2 plus. Now we have to do off first. So 1/3 of 2 means 1/3 into 1/2. So that is equal to 1/2 plus 1/3 into 1/2 is 1/6. So you have to make the denominator same. So you have to multiply the first part by 2, sorry 3. So 3 plus 1/6. So that is equal to 4/6. And if you simplify, you will get 1/. So that is equal to 4/6. That is equal to 2/3. Right? So that is the portion obtained by both A and B. So if you want to find C, you have to subtract that from the whole. The whole is, you consider it as 1. So 1 minus 2/3 is only equal to the portion obtained by C. So 1, we will take it as 3/3. 3/3 minus 2/3. So that is equal to 1/3. So you can see that this is a lengthy method, but if you draw diagrams, you can consider directly. You can take it directly. You have to consider these branches coming from this. You have to multiply and take the value. Now, if you want to take the real fraction of C, you have to multiply the fraction in this branch, and you have to multiply the fraction in this branch. 2/3 of half. If you want to see for B, if they ask what is the real fraction of, what is the amount of, from, like, when you consider the initial amount, what is the fraction B has received, you have to multiply 1/3 of half. So you have to multiply 1/3 into 1/2. So that is going to be 1/6. So like that, you can directly multiply and take it. Or otherwise, you can do it in this method, but it will take a lot of time. Okay. So the second question they are asking, if instead of dividing the amount in the above manner, it was divided between the three, show that the amount that B would receive is twice the amount that he received initially. Okay. So in the second question, now they are telling we have to show that after dividing equally, we have received twice the amount of the initial amount. Okay. So the second question, so initially, how much did he receive? 1/3 of half. So that is going to be equal to 1/3 of half. So that is equal to 1/3 into 1/2. So that is equal to 1/6. So this is the amount he received initially. But now how they have received is, they are they are equally dividing the amount among the three. So that means the whole portion is 1 and you are dividing it by 3. Okay, so I'll use this amount, mark as my division. Okay, so 1 divided by 3. So that means each of them are going to get 1 over 3 portion, right? 1 over 3 for A, 1 over 3 for B, 1 over 3 for C. So to make this, compare this with this fraction, I'm going to make this as an equivalent fraction for this. Okay. So if I want to convert this into the same denominator as the above fraction, I have to multiply the whole fraction by 2. So that is equivalent to 2 by 6. So you can see when you consider the initial amount and the amount he has received now, it is twice the amount. So therefore, you can say that he has received twice the amount in this manner. Is it clear? Okay. So when you consider third question, they are telling us, if C received rupees 1000 through the initial distribution, find the total amount that was distributed among the three. So initially the C has received 1/3 of the fraction. So 1 over 3 fraction is equal to 1000. So that means the whole portion is how much? 3 times 3. 3 over 3 is only the whole portion. So total means, that means you have to multiply this by 3. So that means the initial amount is rupees 1000 into 3. So the answer is equal to rupees 3000. Is it clear? Did you all understand? Now can you all do any questions when they give it as statements? Students, can you all understand? Is it clear for all of you? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now this is one of the question from your book. Okay. So now you can see, now we can do the past papers and see how much thorough we are with this knowledge. Okay. So this is the question. You all can see this is the question from 2016 paper. You all can try along with me. So here you can see Mr. Kitsiri made a cash donation to a community center. Sorry. Okay. To a community center. 209 of the total amount he donated was used to buy musical instruments and 1 over 2 to buy sports equipment. So if you say, we can see if he has donated X amount, from the X amount, 2 over 9 was given for musical instrument. I'll write it as M. And then they are giving half of the amount to buy sports. Okay, to buy sports equipment. So you can draw a diagram like this when you read the first time, when you read the questions itself. Now you see, this is our initial portion. So these are real fractions. So directly you can take it as this. Now if you divide it further, then you have to multiply the branches to get the real fraction. Okay. So the first part they have said, find what fraction of the total amount was used to buy musical instruments and sports. So you have to add both 2 over 9 and 1 over 2. So 2 over 9 addition 1 over 2. So that is equal to, so if you consider the least common multiple, it is going to be 18. So 9 times 2 is 18 and 2 times 2 is 4 plus 9. So that is going to be equal to 13 over 80. Okay. 1 over 5 of the remaining amount was used to buy books for the library. So here see, now if I take another branch, that is the remainder. Okay. So from the remainder, Okay, so from the remainder, they are taking 1/5 portion to buy books. I'll write it as B. Okay, so you know now this blue color one is not a real fraction. Okay, so you have to find the fraction of the remainder, and then if you multiply it only, you will get the real fraction. So this is a false fraction. So you cannot directly use this fraction. Okay, so they have asked find what fraction of the total amount was used to buy books. So for that we have to find the remainder. So we can see 13/18 is only 1/2 and 2/9 for musical instrument, and for sports 13/18 portion is used. So the remainder is 1 minus 13/18. So that is going to be equal to 5/18. Okay, so the fraction used to buy books is 1/5 of 5/18. Okay, so 5 and 5 will get, that means next step you have to convert this into multiplication mark, and then 5 and 5 will cancel off. So you will get 1/18. So 1/18 portion is used to buy books. Okay, the amount remaining after purchasing the book was used to renovate the community center. Okay, so you can see 1/18 is used to buy books, 13/18 is used to buy musical instruments and sports. So the remainder is, you have total 1, and then you have already have spent this 13/18 and plus 1/18 for books. So the fraction you are using for renovation is going to be equal to 1 minus 14/18. So 1 is 1 means it is 18/18, right? So 18/18 minus 14/18 is equal to 4/18. Okay. So if the renovation cost was rupees 20,000, so that means you can see we have to find the total amount Mr. Kitsiri donated. So we know 4/18 portion only he gave it for renovation, right? So 4/18 is only equal to 20,000. 4/18 is equal to what? 20,000. So to find one portion, how do we find? So 1/18 only we have to find. So like to find that one particular portion, so 1/18 is equal to 20,000 divide by 4. And when you find the total portion is 18/18. So you have to multiply this amount by 18. So 20,000 divided by 4 is 5,000. So I'll write it like this. 5,000 into 80. So that is going to be equal to 90,000. I'll write it as 90K. Okay. Okay. So is it clear for you all? So like this, when you read the question, you all have to take these branches, and with that branches, you all can easily do this question. Okay. So is it clear for you all? Students, did you all understand? Okay. So I'll give you all 5 minutes. Can you all try the next question? Can you all see how much you have understood? You can check and see whether you have understood what I have taught clearly. Okay. So we'll go with the next question. Try to do this question. I'll give you all 5 minutes. Now it's 5:22. I'll start by 5:27. Don't think of the time. Just try to do the maximum you all can. Okay. Okay, so here see a household water tank is completely filled with water. Okay, so one you have a tank filled with water, so I'll take that as my one portion. Okay, okay, and from that 1/10 you are going to use it for gardening. So for your garden you are going to use 1/4. So that is going to be your real fractions, and then you are going to use another, sorry, 1/10. Sorry, 1/10 is used for garden, and then you are going to use 1/4 of your portion for bathing, right? So I'll use it as P. So they have asked find what fraction of the water in the tank is used to water the garden and for bathing. So that means they are asking both of these fractions. That is equal to 1/4 plus 1/10. So if you take the denominator, you have to make it same. So the least common multiple is going to be 20. So 4 times 5 is 20 and 1 times 5 is 5. And 10 you have to multiply by 2 to make it 20. So 1/20. Sorry, 1/10 means 1 into 2 is 2. So that is going to be equal to 7/20. Right? Of the remaining water in the tank, 4/3 is used to wash clothes. So from the remainder, we are going to wash clothes. So what is your remainder? That means total you have 1. You are using 7/20. So the remainder is going to be 1 minus 7/20. So that is equal to 20/20 minus 7/20. So that means 13/20. That is the remaining water you have. So from the remaining water, you are going to use 4/13 to wash clothes. So 4/13 of 13/20. So I'll keep the next step. Consider this as your multiplication mark. You can cancel 13 and 13 off, and then 4 1 times, and in 20 you have 5 times. So that means the answer is 1/5. Okay. So find what fraction of the tank remains now. So you know already, easily you can do it as like this. Already you have given, you have used 1/5 for washing clothes and 13/20 for other work. Sorry, 7/20 to garden and bathing. So the total will be, you can do it like this. You can add 7/20 and 1/5, because that is the amount of water you have used, right? And you can subtract this from 1. So that means you are going to get the answer. Now, if you simplify this, you can take the 20 as this common multiple. You have to multiply by 4. So that is equal to 1 minus 7 plus 4/20. So that is going to be 11/20. So 1 minus 11/20 is 9/20. 1 minus 11/20 is equal to 9/20. Okay. So they have said when another 500 liters of water is used for kitchen requirements, one of four of the tank remains filled. Okay, so you can see that you have remainder is 9 over 20. So now we can find how much of what is the fraction of water used for kitchen. Okay, so for 9 over 20, now you have after using for kitchen, you have the remainder is 1 over 4. So the difference is going to give us the fraction used for kitchen requirement. So that is going to be equal to, have to multiply by 5 to make it 20. So that is going to be 9 over 20 minus 5 over 20. So that is going to be 4 over 20. So if you simplify 4 over 20, the fraction is going to become 1 over 5. So that means you have used 1 over 5 amount for kitchen. So that means I'll write it here. 1 over 5 is only equal to 500 liters because they are telling 500 liters you have used for kitchen. So 1 over 5 is equal to 500 liters. So that means the total will be equal to 5 over 5, right? The capacity of the tank is 5 over 5. So if you multiply this 500 liters into 5, the capacity of the tank you will get. So the capacity of the tank is equal to 2500 liters. Make sure you all write the unit as well. Is it clear now? Did you all understand this question? Students, are you all clear? Okay. So we'll move on to the next question. A man intended to distribute a certain amount of money he had by giving 2/5 to his wife and the remaining amount equally to his 3 sons. However, he had to give 1/6 of this amount to his brother before he distributed it as intended. He distributed the remaining amount as originally intended. So what does he do? So initially he has an amount, I'll take it as 1. From that he have to give 1/6 to his brother. Okay, so 1/6 is to be given to brother. From the remainder, so some amount is remaining, right? So if 1/6 is given to brother, so remainder is going to be 5/6. 1 minus 1/6. So that is going to be 5/6. So from the 5/6 amount, that is the remainder, I'll write it as R, is giving 2/5 to his wife. 2/5 to his wife, right? And the rest of the amount he is going to divide it to equally among the 3 sons. So if 2/5 is given to wife, remainder is going to be 3/5. That he is going to divide into 3 sons. So that means each son is going to get 3/5 divided by 3. So that is going to be equal to 1/5. So each son is going to get 1/5, right? So that is the simplification diagram. The first question, what fraction of the initial amount that the man had did the wife receive? So how much? 2/5 of 5/6. The wife received 2/5 of 5/6. So you can directly do it like that. So with your diagram, 2/5 of 5/6. So that is going to be, if you simplify 5 and 5 will cancel off. Then you can cancel off 2 and 6 as 1/3. So the answer is going to be 1/3. Okay. What fraction of the initial amount did he have remaining after giving his brother and his wife? So for brother, he gave 1/6. For wife, he gave 2/5. So the total amount he has given is 1/3 plus 1/6 for wife and brother. So that is going to be, if you simplify, you have to make the denominator same. So 6 is the least common multiple. You have to multiply by 2. So that is going to be 3/6. So that is equal to, if you simplify, you are going to get 1/2. So the remainder is 1 minus 1/2. So that is equal to 1/2. Or you can do it another method also. The remainder is 3/5 is only remaining, right? 3/4 of 5/6. So 5 and 5 will cancel off. And then also you will get the same answer, 1/2. Okay. The amount of a son received was 40,000 rupees, less than the amount he was to receive originally. So initially, if now remember now, initially how did he plan? How he is planning is to give 2/5 to his wife and the remainder to his son. Okay, but now then only he realizes he have to give 1/6 of this amount to his brother also. So he gives the amount to the brother and then he distributes the amount. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear up to this point? Up to the second part, is it clear? Okay. So the last part, now they are telling here, one of the amount of the sons are receiving is 40,000 rupees less than the amount they were to receive originally. So imagine if the person does, if that man did not have any necessary to give to his brother, how will he have divided 2/5 to his wife and 1/5 portion will be given to their son? Okay. But now what has happened? He has given 1/6 to his brother, and from the remainder, he has given 2/5 to his wife. And from the remainder only, the sons have got 1/5 portion. So the sons have received this from 1/3 of, now this 3/5 is only divided among 3 sons. Okay, that means this half is divided among 3 sons, right? After giving their brother and wife, the remainder is half. From this half, each son is going to receive equally. So that means 1/3 portion. That means one son is going to get 1/3 portion of half. That means now, right? Not before. It means after giving his brother. After giving his brother, the sons are going to get, one son is going to get 1/3 portion of half. So that is going to be equal to 1/6. That means they are going to get 1/6 portion. But if he has not given to brother, that means how they will get? The wife is getting 2/5. That means the remainder is 3/5. So each son will get 1/3 of 3/5. Okay, so 3 and 3 will get cancelled off. That is going to be 1/5. Is it clear now? If because he gave the brother, they received 1/6 portion. If he had not given to his brother, they would have received 1/5. The difference between this fraction is only, they have said 40,000 rupees. Yes, yeah, less than the amount he was to receive originally. Okay, so 1/6 minus 1/5 minus 1/6. Now 1/5 minus 1/6 I'll write it in the whiteboard because there's no enough space. Okay. Okay. So you can see that initially they received 1/6 portion, no, 1/5 portion. If they had, since he gave their his brother, they received 1/6 portion. So 1/5, the difference is 1/5 over 1/6. That is equal to rupees 40,000. Okay. So that means if you simplify these fractions, you have to take the least common multiple, that is 30. So that is 6 minus 5 over 30 is equal to rupees 40,000. So that means 1/30 portion is equal to rupees 40,000. So here they are asking what is the total amount. The total amount is going to be 30/30 portion, right? So 30/30, that is the total portion. 30/30 is going to be equal to rupees 40,000 into 30. So answer is equal to rupees 12 lakhs. Is it clear? 120,000. Not, is it clear? Not 120,000, like 12 lakhs. Okay. Is this question clear for you all? Can you all now correlate the fractions? Can you all now connect the real fractions and the false fractions? Okay. So I'll give you all 5 minutes. Can you all try the next question? Now, since you all are very clear, now we have 2 more questions. Now this is 2018 paper. Now you all can try 2019 paper and we'll finish with 2020 paper. Okay. I'll give you all 5 minutes. You all can do this. Okay, so 7 over 15 of the total length of a drain was dug on the first day, and 1 over 4 of the remaining length was dug on the second day. So if we divide into branches on the first day, 7 over 15 was already done, and from the remainder, 1 over 4 was done on the second day. So you have to divide the branches again. So 1 over 4 is done on the second day. Okay. And then there was at the end of the first day, what fraction of the total length of the drain remained to be dug. So the total portion is 1. So at the end of the first day, you have dug 7 over 15. So the remainder is 1 minus 7 over 15. So that is equal to 8 over 50. What fraction of the total length of the drain was dug on the second day? So we saw that 1 over 4 of the remainder is dug on the second day. So the remainder is 8 over 15. So 1 over 4 of 8 over 50. So that is going to be equal to, we can simplify 8 and 4. We have 2 times, we have 2. That is going to be equal to 2 over 50. So the next question, at the end of the first 2 days, a further length of 600 meters of the total length of the drain remained to be dug. Find the total length of the drain. So after finishing the 2 days work, you have left another 600 meters. So what is the amount that has been dug for both days, 8 or 15 plus 2 or 50? So that is going to be, sorry, first day you have 7 or 50, second day 2 or 50. So totally after 2 days, 9 or 15 has been dug out. Okay. So the remainder is going to be equal to 1 minus 9 over 50. Okay. So that is going to be equal to 6 over 50. Right. So this 6 over 15 portion is only equal to 600 meters. So the total length is equal to, right, total length is equal to 600 into 15 over 6. We have tried the reciprocal of the fraction. You have to divide it by 6 and then multiply by, if you divide it by 6, you will get the single portion, and then there are 15 parts like that. You have to multiply by 15. That is going to be equal to 1,500 meters. Okay. It has been estimated that the 4 men will require 3 days to dig the remaining 600 meters of the drain. How many more men needed to be engaged to dig this length in 2 days? So 4 men is going to take 3 days to dig the remaining 600 meters. So for this question, I'll take the whiteboard. Okay. So that means the work done is, the work done by that 4 men is equal to 4 men is going to work for 3 days. That is the work done. So the work done is the same. So now they are telling if you have X number of men should work. Now we don't know how many men should work. So X, I'll write X men if they work for 2 days, right? So they are going to work for 2 days. You have to find how many men. Both the work are same. So that means this time this is equal to. So that is equal to 12 men days, right? So if you want to find the value of X, so X is equal to 12 men days divide by 2 days. So that is equal to 6 men. So 6 men is required to work for 2 days because the work is the same. So you are going to balance the equation x into 2 and 4 into 3. So 4 into 3 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6 men. You already have 2 men. So they're asking how many more extra men you needed. So extra men is 6 minus 4 equals, you need 2 men extra to do the work in 2 days. Okay. So that is the answer for the fourth one. The last one, 2020 oil paper. A container of 5-liter capacity was completely filled with a soft drink. 3 over 10 of this amount was used to serve drinks. So from the 5 liters, right? Then if you divide 3 over 10 is went to serve drink. Okay. What fraction of the capacity of the container was the amount of soft drink remaining after using a portion to serve drinks? After you serve the drinks, what is the remainder they are asking? So you have served 3 over 10 portion. So 1 minus 3 over 10. So that is going to be equal to 7 over 10. Right? 5 over 7 of the soft drink remaining in the container was poured into a bottle. What fraction of the capacity of the container was the amount of soft drink left in the container after that? So, how much portion is given? Now, 5 over 7 of the remainder. 5 over 7 of 7 over 10 is poured into a bottle, right? So, that is going to be equal to 5 over 10. So 5 over 10 is poured into a bottle. 3 over 10 is already used to serve the drink. So the remainder is going to be equal to, so this, I'll write it here, 5 over 10. So totally the amount used is 5 over 10 plus 3 over 10. So that is equal to 8 over 10. So the remainder is 1 minus 8 over 10. So that is equal to 2 over 10. That means 1 over 5. Is equal to 1 over 5. Now, more soft drink was added to the amount of soft drink in the capacity of the, now more soft drink was added to the amount of soft drink in the container until the amount in the container was exactly half the capacity of the container. Express the amount of soft drink poured into the container in liters. Okay. So to make it half, you have to add more, right? So the remainder is 105. So what is the, how much more should we add? Half minus 105. That means you have to make it half. You already have 105. So the remainder only you have to add. So you are going to find the difference. So half minus 105 to make the denominator same. That is common multiple is 10. So the answer is going to be 3 over 10. So you have to add more 3 over 10. Right? So the total capacity is 5 liters. So you have to add 3 by 10. So the answer is 3 over 10 into 5 liters. That is going to be, you can simplify 1 And then here 2. So that is going to be 3 divided by 2. So you have to add another 1.5 liters. So that's all. So you can see that fractions are very easy when you know how the branches are dividing and what fraction is separating in each of these parts. Then you have to find the false fractions and the true fractions and correlate them and find the answer. So is it clear all what we have done up to now? Students, is it clear? Okay. So for those who didn't understand this part, I'll explain again. So from the 5-liter capacity soft drink, you are using 3/10 portion to serve drinks. So the remainder you have is 7/10. From the 7/10 portion, you are using another 5/7 and you are pouring it into a bottle. So 5/7 of 7/10 is 5/10. So totally 5/10 portion you are pouring into a bottle. So they are asking how much is remaining. So initially you took 3/10 to serve drinks and then you have taken another 5/10 to pour into a bottle. So the remainder is total minus all what you have used. So the used one is 5/10 plus 3/10. So that is 8/10. So the remainder is 1 minus 8/10 is 2/10. That is 1/5. Okay. So the 1/5 is only remaining in your tank. Okay. So to make the tank half, you have to add more amount, right? So already you have 1/5. You have to make it 1/2 means you have to see how much more you have to add. That is the difference. You have to add the difference. So when you minus, subtract that, you will get the difference. The difference is 3/10. So you can see the total capacity is 5 liter. So 3/10 portion of 5 liter is 1.5 liter. So you have to add more 1.5 liters to make it half. Okay. So that's all for today. I hope you all are very clear and confident with fractions now. So whatever the questions which will come in your paper, I guess you will be doing it in confidence. So we'll end the session now. Do you all have any questions? Students, you all can ask any questions now. Any questions? Anything which is not clear? Try as much as possible. Now I have done from 16 to 20. You all can do other questions like from 2011. Every year there is a question from fractions. You all can try it today itself. And you all can do it and see. Because there are in every year, from even if you have 10 years past paper, you all can try the rest of the question. So for those who didn't understand how to make fractions, I'll just give demonstrate a small example. Okay. So for an example, we'll say you have a piece of cake. Now, as I told in the beginning, they say now there's a question. They say you have a cake and you share half of the cake with your friend, and you are taking the rest of the cake home. So this other half will come into home. Okay. So from that you are giving a portion to your brother. They will say like that you are giving 2/5 to brother and 1/3 to your sister, and the remainder you are going to eat it by yourself. We'll say like that. We'll take it as M. Okay. So remember now you are taking a birthday cake to school and the total cake is here and half you are giving to friend. So that means remaining half only you are going to take it to home. Right? From this half only you are going to give 3/5 to your brother. We say, as I said before, I can't remember the fractions. I said 1/3 something like this. And then you are eating the balance, right? So this is what we called as a real fraction. Now you can say you gave half to friends, but you can't say from the total cake you gave 3/5 to brother, because you took from the remaining half only, you gave that 3/5 portion. So to find the real fraction, you have to multiply this branch with this branch. That means for brother, you have given 3/5 of that remaining half. So that means from the total cake, you have given, if you convert this into the multiplication mark, 3/5 into 1/2 is 3/10, right? So that means from the total cake, 3/10 portion only you have given to your brother. If you take your sister, you have given 1/3 of half cake, not the total cake. That means you have to, from the total cake, if you want to find the portion you have given to sister, you have to multiply this branch with this branch, right? So that is equal to 1/3 of 1/2, that is 1/6. So remaining portion only you have it. So that means you have to find the remainder by adding 1/6 and 3/10 and then subtracting that from half. So that is why we call this as real fraction and this as false fraction. So you can't use this in your answer. That means you have to find the real fraction by multiplying this branch with this branch. So these fractions are real fractions because you have considered it with the actual fraction. Okay, so you can use 1/6, but you can't use 1/3 because 1/3 is not from the total cake. It is from the half of the cake. So you have to find from the total cake how much you have given to your sister. Now we see how to use this branching system and how to find the real fractions and how to simply use this branching system to find the answers. Okay. Any other questions? Anything else which is not clear for you all? So if you all are clear and if you all don't have any questions, we can finish the session. Okay. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Sister Fawazia, for that very informative session. We hope that the session was indeed very useful and very productive to all those who attended today. More educational webinars and motivational sessions will happen in the future, which will surely support you in various ways. You can access our YouTube channel if you have missed any previous webinars, and please feel free to contact us if you want to leave any suggestions or comments based on these sessions. Stay connected with us for more updates. Once again, thank you for joining and keep working hard to reach your goals. The Muslim Majlis of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura genuinely wishes all of you a very successful future. Stay safe and have a fabulous week ahead. Thank you.